I wanted to talk a little bit today about the unknown. So, the unknown is sometimes presented as a noun, like the unknown, as some remote place. But in fact, it's something that we all experience every day, although we usually don't like to admit it to ourselves. The unknown is really that we don't know what the future may bring. So here we're recording on March 27th. During this time of uncertainty with the pandemic, we really don't know where this is all headed. So it becomes much more clear now that we really don't know what the future may bring. But it's always true, it's always true. Sometimes we're pleasantly surprised, but often we're just surprised in little ways every day, sometimes in big ways, sometimes in disturbing ways, of course. But this sense of not knowing the future is problematic only in the sense of our minds trying to grasp what that may be, trying to somehow formulate it, put it in a box so that it can be understood, planned for, and somehow managed. But all of that planning is fine, but we all know by now, certainly, that we can plan, it has some relationship to the future, but often things happen that are not part of the plan at all. For example, this pandemic. 3 or 4 months ago, it wasn't on the radar. None of us knew that we'd be spending a lot of time by ourselves in semi-isolation. So this is how the future reveals itself. And the sense that we have about trying to control that, trying to just being intimidated by it, a sense of fear or anxiety about the unknown future, where this is all going to go, is actually just our futile attempt to manage things that are really not in our control to manage. So I'm not saying we shouldn't plan. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do whatever we need to do to take care of ourselves, our loved ones, our community as best we can under the circumstances, and to stay in touch with others. But I am saying that even while doing all of that, it's helpful to acknowledge that we don't control the outcome. We do what we can, sure, but in terms of the outcome will be the outcome, whatever that may be. It doesn't mean that we don't plan or make our best effort to take care of ourselves, but it's to acknowledge that even with that, we don't know what the future holds. The only thing that we do have certainty about is in this present moment. What do we choose to do now? Do we choose to reside in a state of anxiousness, in a state of fear, in a state of hanging on the next newscast, or do we choose to do what we need to do to take care of things, to buy what we need to buy, plan for our food, plan for our medical preparedness? All of that's great. And then let it go. And then be able to rest in this present moment, be able to remain grounded, remain available to what actually happens next. The sense of trying to control the future through fear or holding on or grasping or wishing or hoping is all fear-based. All fear-based. All fear is based on something that we imagine may or may not happen in the future. So we can just see that tendency of the mind, wanting its own safety, seeing that deepest movement of I wish wellness for this body and for the bodies of people that I know, people that I love, my neighbors, my community. Sure. So that movement, that desire for safety, for protection of these bodily cells is a form of wisdom. The anxiety and the fear is not. The anxiety and the fear is actually detrimental to this body-mind. That fear, that incessant being in the state of fight or flight actually is debilitating to this body-mind. It's actually the opposite of enhancing our immune system, our healing, our abilities, innate ability to defend and heal itself. So it's important to recognize that we don't know what the future is and acknowledge that. Be okay with that. Do what we need to do, yes. Let it go. The outcome will be the outcome. In the next moment, we'll be available to do what we need to do. In that moment, we'll have the energy to do it because we haven't wasted it all on fear, anxiety, what ifs, unproductive thinking, worrying about things that may or may not ever happen. So by letting that fear and anxiety just subside, just see it for what it is, see it for our mind's desperate attempt to control what it can't control, namely the future. Again, planning, sure. Taking steps that we can take, yes, but that doesn't consume our whole day. Those are things that we can think we can do, we take care of them, and we go on with our life. You know, the way we can really support these bodies during this time is really to, besides taking care of what we need to take care of in the physical world, to just allow ourselves to do the things that we know are healthy for this body. Spend some quiet time. Spend some time out in nature. Spend some time in silence. Spend some time with yourself. Spend some time with an inspirational book, maybe. Spend some time out on the porch with a cup of tea, listening to birds, watching the clouds. All of this settles our body, allows it to heal, allows it to strengthen its immune system, and that's a value. So that's what I would suggest, is just using this time to take care of what we need to take care of, yes, and then come back to ourselves and remember what's best for these body minds.